Come to life. She was wrong. She came along like she was dignified. Show me what it was to fly. You couldn't be that girl I adored. Don't seem to know, seem to care what your heart is for. I don't know her anymore. Nothing's right, I'm torn. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. Sup, brothers? Chad, they can't stop me. They can discourage me, but they can't stop me. Perfect sky is torn. I'm a little late. But I think if nothing else, I've proven to myself I have courage in spades. So good luck with that one.
How we doing, TJ Lozano?
Fortune teller's right. Not some holy light. I don't care. I have no luck. I don't miss her all that much. I can't touch, I'm torn.
How we doing?
I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. Lying naked on the floor.
How we doing, OT?
Into something real. I'm wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn.
How we doing, Dev Patel?
I'm already torn.
How we doing, Caveman?
No, I'm still banned. Well, I'm not banned. I'm restricted.
How we doing, Aiden?
But like I said, it can't stop me, brother. Nothing's right. I'm torn. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. Lying naked on the floor. What up, brother? Greggy, welcome back, man.
How we doing, Aiden?
Good to see you, man. Greg, thanks, guys. I've said this before, but you guys make my day. You guys make my day. I pour a lot of myself into this, and I never. What's up, Mark? I never want you guys to think like sometimes people will show up to the chat and be like, "Oh, sorry, I haven't been in the stream in a long time." That shit doesn't matter, man. You have a whole life to live. You got a lot going on. You got your like we live in this oppressive empire. It warms my heart. It rejuvenates me. It encourages me when you show up and just let me know how you're doing. And just let me know how you're doing. Let me know you're hanging in there. Let me know you're fighting the good fight. Let me know you're cultivating a better version of yourself. Let me know you're cultivating your humanity. You're like trying to be your best self. You're just living life, man. Mark, let's hear it, brother. That's what I care about. I don't expect y'all to show up for every stream. I expect y'all to show up for every stream. Just appreciate when y'all pop in, talk about what's going on. Mark, you were talking about going into surgery. Okay, so how are you recovering? How are you feeling? Is it like, did they take care of it? And yeah, just say more about what's going on. Also, I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope the surgery is, put things in a better place. But yeah, man, fill us in on what's going on, brother.
How we doing?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. So, are you like scheduled for another kind of round? Like, obviously you have to recover from the initial surgery.
How we doing,
And then are they like looking at going back in there.
How we doing, Joe?
Obviously, only talk about what you're comfortable, talking about.
How we doing, Spice God Dizzy?
Okay. Okay. And what's the recovery been like for you? And like, do you have good health
How we
insurance?
doing,
Is that
Julie?
is that a concern? You having to take work off?
Aiden's
How's
is
your,
going off.
how's your family?
How we doing, JBSKII? How we doing, Cam?
Oh, Cam, I appreciate the gifts, man. Thanks for the gifts, Cam. Cam's been coming in the last couple days and just being a big help, brother. I appreciate it. Shout out Cam, Chad. Shout out Cam, man. Shout out Aiden for the heart. I didn't even see the heart. Aiden and Blake made a huge impression on the
How we
stream
doing, Gabe?
with their clips. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. All love, brother. All love. So today we're gonna do, it's Reaction Tuesday. So we're gonna do some reactions. And yeah, I mean, I have like so many clips on here, man. I'm gonna queue a couple of them up real quick. But yeah, Mark, feel free to continue filling us in. Oh, sorry. Okay. I think the cooldown settings changed. I'm not seeing a different chat. So guys, as I build out this schedule, we're gonna shift to a 3 day a week schedule, with Reaction Tuesdays, Community Game Wednesdays, or Sundays, and then I'll probably make the third day Thursday, most likely. Um, but yeah, still kind of figuring that out.
How we doing, Andrew?
Uh, no, that wasn't from today. That was just a couple instances. Because the last time I streamed, before I went to meet up with a friend, I streamed for like an hour and a half and got 40 views, and that was frustrating. And I was like I just gotta remember that this isn't organic. Because when you pour your heart into something and you're being pushed down, it's frustrating. Yeah. What game? So today I'm gonna do some reactions. I'm gonna do some reactions. Keeping with Reaction Tuesdays. React to a couple clips. Oh, for sure. It's incredibly frustrating. Yeah. So I'm just queuing up some clips right now that and I my organization for these clips aren't the best. Got you, brother. Yeah, you get some rest, man. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for
How we
tapping into
doing,
the
Brian
stream,
L?
and I hope you fast. I wish you a fast recovery. Hopefully when they go back in there, you know, it can be taken care of and things can return to normal for you, man. Godspeed, brother. I've not seen the Odyssey yet, but I've heard about it, and people are saying a lot of good things about it. Gotcha. All right, I've queued up. Yeah, I got drinks with a friend like 30 minutes ago, and he was talking about wanting to go see it. Apparently, there's this movie theater in Providence um, that shows it in its sort of a full light. Um, I'll probably go see it at some point for sure. No, no. I mean, I wasn't aware of this, but apparently there's like a particular format that the movies are supposed to be, and this varies from movie to movie. But typically there'll be a uh, Cam. I appreciate the gifts, brother. Ryan, what's up, man? A particular format that movies will release in, but that format will be converted to fit the particular theater, and apparently this one in Rhode Island is big enough. The screen is big enough to be able to show the original intention of the director. So he's gonna go watch it there. Hmm. Okay, that's one clip, two clip, three clip. Let's we'll do this one. We'll do this one. Then what should we do for a third? We'll do this one. I'll come back to this one. This one is a good one too. Okay. Oh, it's kind of tough to see actually. Is there a way I can expand this somehow? How about zooming in? Zooming in work? All right, that's better.
How we doing Bailout Mixtape Fire?
Can you guys see that? Guys, I'm not sure how much this matters given the state of TikTok, but tapping the screen conceivably helps. So if you could do that, that'd be a big help. And sharing, tapping the screen, sharing, that'd be a big help. Um, we when we're not being suppressed, we're usually beating those kind of metrics with new records. I think our like record is like 80K. Our followers record is 200. Our concurrent viewer record is 320. Um, Total viewership record is 20K, and so we've just done a ton of good things, and help me fight the algorithm. Drop a like, and keep tapping that screen. Okay, so for community or sorry, Reaction Tuesdays. Again, I'm trying to build out a regular schedule, shift to a 3 day a week schedule, and kind of have these particular things we do every stream. So Tuesdays are going to be reactions, Sundays games with the people in the community, and then Thursday we got to figure out the thing for Thursday. Maybe Thursday will be just straight the kind of regular format of gaming and talking about social issues as they come up. That might kind of be the direction there, but or maybe on Thursday I do like a Q&A. Um, that might be something to consider. Okay, anyway, let's lower the music and get into it, huh? I gotta get so much better at making the clip. So I wanted to react to this clip because I thought it was a master class by this dad in helping his son understand how social, how our understanding of society comes to be. And then we can talk about what this looks like. And it'll kind of sound like a broken record, but I think repetition is important. And I think repetition with varied examples is important. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. I might get a strike for unoriginal content because they do that too, apparently.
Roles are?
No.
Even though you never heard the term, I'm pretty sure you know how gender roles work. So, if you got a husband, a wife, and 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl.
It already kind of played a bit. Let's restart it. Wonder if I can just refresh, actually.
Do you know what gender roles are? Do you
Okay,
know what
so-
gender roles are?
Yeah, so he asks him, do you know what gender roles are? All right, let's watch.
No.
Even though you never heard the term, I'm pretty sure you know how gender roles work. So, if you got a husband, a wife, and 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl, who do you think should take out the garbage?
The husband and the kid that's a boy.
Okay, who do you think should give the kids a bath?
The wife.
Okay. Who do you think is more likely to get in trouble at school?
The son.
Okay. Who do you think is more likely to pay the bills?
The husband.
If they all had to go on a car ride, who do you think is more likely to drive the car?
The husband.
Okay. So, in your life, you live with your mom, you live with me, right?
Mhm.
You seen your mom do everything by herself. You seen me do everything by myself. So you haven't really had a lot of experience with a traditional household, but you still have this idea of how things should go in a traditional household, right?
Mhm.
So the one experience that you do have in a traditional household is with your grandparents, right? So my mom and dad, right?
Mhm.
In that household, who do more of the cooking?
Grandpa.
Okay. You're too old for anybody to give you a bath at this point. But if somebody had to give you a bath, who would be more likely to give you a bath?
And grandpa, because when I was younger, he always gave me my bath.
Grandpa cooks more and was more likely to give you a bath. He's more nurturing than grandma is, right?
Mhm.
So even though you have that personal experience, your idea of gender roles is more shaped by the societal view than your own personal experiences, right? What do you think about that? This is a prime example of socialization. No one has ever sat my son down and directly taught him about gender roles and expectations, but he understands the societal norms to a T, even though they go against his own personal experiences. He's never seen a household be ran the way that he described in that video, right? So it shows you that socialization can even be more powerful than your own personal experiences. So where's he getting this stuff from? Movies, TV, books. When you read the kindergarten book about a family, usually the mom is doing the cooking, the dad is going to work. He even said the son is more likely to get in trouble than the daughter, right? Crazy. If these things go unchecked, there are a lot of men who feel like, I don't have to change my kids' diapers because that's a woman's job. I should never have to cook because I'm paying the bills. You too tired to cook, I was too tired to go to work. You need to get up and cook regardless because I still went to work, whatever the case may be. So it turns into a lack of empathy inside of a relationship. Empathy for people just experiencing life and the ebbs and flows of it. And it turns into just this very systematic way of living that doesn't work for real human beings. Even when no one's teaching them, they're still learning. Do you know what gender?
Okay. So we just watched the whole clip, no commentary.
How we doing?
Now we're gonna go through the clip and kind of just talk about it. And like I said, I thought this was a master class in how socialization works. And I've said this a ton of times on the stream before, but there is no way to separate oneself from the dominant culture in this society. It's not possible. Let me illustrate why. To the point in the clip, and we'll go through it and I'll kind of break it down piece by piece. But one can receive a particular message in their household. One can have particular examples in their household, but the household is not the only means by which we are socialized. In fact, it's not even the dominant means by which we are socialized. Everything else in society, outside of one's household, the influences of your friends, your extended family, your education, the media you consume, and the things that you are not shown, and what's presented to you as a norm. All of these things also play a role in your socialization. Okay? So here we have an example, a prime example, I think.
Gender roles are?
No.
Even though you never heard the term, I'm pretty sure you know how gender roles work. So if you got a husband.
So the kid has never heard the term gender roles, but he has an idea of what gender roles should be. So where did he get this idea? No one sat him down and said, man, a man is supposed to do this, a woman is supposed to do that. But he still has a clear understanding of that. Where did he get that from? From society, from the dominant culture, from his socialization. Everything in his life, all that's communicated to him in various ways, right? Even though he's never had that reflected in his personal family life, okay? And right now they're discussing gender roles, but this is the case for every social phenomenon in society. It's the case for everything. I made a clip not too long ago, and it got some buzz, and I went back and forth with people in the comments who were attacking me, saying that I should know better and be better. In the clip, I said I'm sexist, I'm misogynist, I'm homophobic, I am anti-black, all these things. And people were attacking me in the comments. And what I told them is that they don't understand socialization. They don't understand how people come to have an understanding of the world around them. And the person I was going back and forth the most with, he didn't respond to this question, but I asked him, do you think that you are beyond sexism? Because he was focusing on sexism. Do you think that you are beyond sexism, that you have received or that you have not internalized any sexist messages whatsoever? He didn't respond because he knew the answer was no, because it's not possible when you are raised, socialized in a patriarchal society to not internalize any. Yes, for sure. I did. It's not possible to not internalize those messages. Prime example, this kid, he doesn't receive that sort of teaching at home, but he receives those messages from the world because that is within the dominant culture. It's reflected in every facet of this society. He doesn't have a choice. It's not something you choose. Let's continue.
A wife and 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. Who do you think should take out the garbage?
The husband and the kid that's a boy.
Okay, who do you think should give the kids a bath?
The wife.
Okay. Who do you think is more likely to get in trouble at school?
So the father is going down these particular kind of gender norms, right? Women are often sort of casted as those who are supposed to do housework and child rearing and be nurturing. And so these become molds that people are forced into, because that is the expectation by everything and everyone around them. And people oftentimes, people who don't understand socialization, which is the vast majority of the population, then read these ways that folks are socialized as this sort of natural way of being, as opposed to a learned way of being, a learned way of being that is sort of in the very fabric of the society.
The sun.
Okay. Who do you think is more likely to pay the bills?
The husband.
If they all had to go on a car ride, who do you think is more likely to drive the car?
The husband.
Okay. So, in your life,
He's describing men as the ones who are taking these leadership roles, taking charge, X, Y, and Z, right? Again, as we saw, that is not his personal experience. They talk about his mother doing all those things. But even so, his understanding is that that is not the place of a woman. Why? Not because that's what his parents tell him, because that's what the society communicates to him in so many ways. In every possible way you can think of, in terms of how we come to understand the world around us.
you live with your mom, you live with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You seen your mom do everything by herself. You seen me do everything by myself. So you haven't really had a lot of experience with a traditional household, but you still have this idea of how things should go in a traditional household, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one experience that you do have in a traditional household is with your grandparents, right? So my mom and dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that household, who do more of the cooking?
Grandpa.
Okay. You're too old for anybody to give you a bath at this point. But if somebody had to give you a bath, who would be more likely to give you a bath?
My grandpa.
When I was a teacher, there was this experience that really stuck with me. We were on the playground, and these two kids were fighting over a ball. It was a boy and a girl. And the girl was really frustrated because the boy was using the pink ball. And she wanted to use the pink ball. Though there were other balls around, she wanted to use the pink ball. And I asked, oh, like, did you have the ball first? She was like, no. And I was like, oh, well, there's another ball over there. Why don't you go play with that ball? She said, no, I'm not going to play with that ball because that ball is blue. Blue is for boys and pink is for girls. So I want the pink ball. And so now you have this conflict where they were like fighting each other, throwing blows,
How we doing?
because, and this was a first grader, so 6 years old. In the 6 years this child has existed, they have been taught in so many ways that it is the right and natural, proper way of being that male-bodied people, female-bodied people, men, women, boys, whoever, have these strict categories that they must adhere to. Such that even though there's a ball right there, perfectly good ball, they're the same ball, just different color. She was willing, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this little girl, she's bad. We're talking about the power of the socialization, right? She went out of her way to get the ball from the boy because she felt like that was the right ball she should have been playing with. And she didn't like that he was playing with it because he's not a girl, and girls use pink and boys use blue. 6 years old, and already with such fervor is holding on to these teachings. Now, maybe she was told this in her household. Maybe she wasn't. But the fact of the matter is, even at that young age, she had been so conditioned into these gender norms that she was willing to act in that way to reinforce them. And here's another part of how the socialization operates: reinforcement. Okay, this kid is at home. He's He has one particular example. He goes out into the world communicates another example to him, and the world enforces that example. It enforces that example. There are consequences such that a girl will try to fight you on the playground if you use the pink ball. Your male friends will ostracize you if you use the pink ball. And anything wherein one strays away or steps out of these norms and these sort of confines of the dominant culture, there is social consequences, sometimes financial consequences, sometimes physical consequences, sometimes violence. And we see this manifest in a lot of ways. Let's take the kind of assault on trans people. Why are trans people so attacked in society? Is it because of all the lies and conspiracies spread about them being predators? Obviously not. The predators are the ones, usually the ones slinging those statements. You have all these folks who are like, oh, we can't have trans people existing because they're going to violate our kids. The people with all the power, the church leaders, what have you, they're the ones violating the kids. If you look at all the statistics, trans people aren't violating kids. It's all the people who are pointing the finger at trans people. The reason trans people are so assaulted by society is because they break that norm. They step out of these norms that we're socialized into and accept as this sort of universal law and correct and proper way of being. There is no such thing that any research or anything shows in human society that suggests that there is one particular right way for human beings to socially express oneself. But it's incredibly difficult to have that understanding when the society communicates and reinforces particular notions about how things should be. And that is not simply confined in the home. It's everywhere, in every waking moment of our existence.
TV, books. When you read a kindergarten book about a family, usually the mom is doing the cooking, the dad is going to work. He even said the son.
Right? It's in images. It's in
How we doing,
the
George?
ads. The ads when you walk out into the world, the ads on the TV, and it doesn't even have to be explicitly said because it's not as though human beings only learn from explicit instruction. It can be symbolized. It can be communicated symbolically. It can be reflected in the
How we
patterns.
doing, Amber?
Uh,
Grab his moose.
Again, in these so many ways wherein we are communicated these particular norms that says this is how things are, this is how things should be, and to act or think outside of that is wrong and you will face consequences. All right. So I thought that was a great clip that illustrates some of the ways that socialization manifests. Amplify, what's up, brother? I need to find some like non copyright music so I can like still have tunes playing. The sky is indeed up. Well, up is relative. The sky exists. Whether it's up or down is another question. Let's see here. I wonder if I can like download those soundtracks and just play them. Excuse me, chat. Audio library. There it is.
You say you need your space, then pull me close. I read your silence, louder than most. One day you're warm, the next day you're cold. Got me second guessing.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play the YouTube audio library in the background because I think these songs can be used without getting copyright struck, so we'll try that out. And see how it goes. Okay, next clip. And guys, feel free to stop, ask questions, give your thoughts, your perspectives, your experiences around these things. I'm not playing a game right now. I'm doing reactions. I know that these things can be uncomfortable to talk about. They can seem unfamiliar. They can challenge our very identity. I ask you to be courageous and push through that difficulty. Okay, let's move on to our next clip. So this one is an interview with Noam Chomsky. Some of you might be familiar with him. He's a sort of highly regarded activist / academic. And he kind of gives a take that I felt like is worth talking about. Warrants discussion. So let's watch. Oh, it's muted.
Everybody for a minute. Almost everybody spends most of their life living in a totalitarian system. It's called having a job. When you have a job, you're under total control of the masters of the.
Let's refresh that
for a minute. Almost everybody spends most of their life living in a totalitarian system. It's called having a job. When you have a job, you're under total control of the masters of the enterprise. They determine what you wear, when you go to the bathroom, what you do. The very idea of a wage contract is selling yourself into servitude. These are private governments. They're more totalitarian than governments are.
But they can't legally murder you or imprison you.
They can't legally murder you, but they can control everything that you do. Okay?
Well, the right-wing libertarian argument would be, well, you're free to leave at any time.
Yes, you're free to starve. That's exactly right. You have a choice between starving or selling yourself to a tyranny. Very libertarian. The right-wing libertarians, whatever they believe, are actually deep authoritarians. They're calling for subordination to private tyrannies, the worst kind of tyrannies. Look, just think about it for a minute.
Okay. So, I've talked about this before on the channel. Dylan, what's up, brother? There is TTS. It should be working. Give it a shot. Also, I appreciate you watching on YouTube, man. It helps out a lot. Thank you. I've been noticing that there's some views on YouTube, so I appreciate you for that. Like, actually, the fact that you kind of have just been defaulting there is such a big help, man. But yeah, TTS should work there. Try the command. You have to put in the command. If it doesn't work, I can address that some other time. But okay. So I've talked about this on the stream before, and I think it's a difficult concept for some people to understand, because a lot of the ways what we come to understand as norms, we take as sort of universal, natural ways of being. We start to see them as just kind of the way things are and the way things should be. So it's hard for us to imagine anything outside of that. It's hard for us to engage with these things critically because of that. And it's difficult. But work as it exists, the wage contract as it exists, under the capitalist system. That's the only system we've ever known in the world. The wage contract was invented by the capitalist and has spread out throughout the world. I'll continue my analysis through this breakdown.
Almost everybody spends most of their life living in a totalitarian system.
I would agree. Why? And he talks about this. You do not have control over your time. You do not have decision-making power over what it is that you do. That is totalitarianism. That is authoritarianism. I know what's been communicated to us in society says that authoritarianism looks like China. Authoritarianism looks like Russia. These foreign examples that draw our attention away from what's happening right here on the ground where we live. All authoritarianism is a matter of who has decision-making power and how folks are able to freely conduct themselves in society. You do not have the privilege or the right to freely conduct yourself at your place of work. You give away that freedom in exchange for a wage that you subsist off of. That is the reality. I know that sounds extreme. I know that sounds far removed from everything that's been communicated to you. That is the reality. Why? Because you do not have control. Folks will say, as was alluded to in this clip, well, you have the freedom to leave. Let's talk about the implications of that. You have the freedom to leave and do what? As Chomsky says, starve. You have the freedom. That is not a freedom. That is not a choice. Death and servitude is not a choice. That is the sort of perversion, the sort of farce of a choice. But there is no real choice there. There's no choice there. You need to work. If you're not born into great wealth, you need to work. You don't have a choice. Choosing to not work means you will be homeless, starve, and die. Most people won't choose that. And so they have no choice. There is no freedom. There is no choice but to work and give away their autonomy, give away their freedom, give away their decision-making power in exchange for a wage, for subsistence via a wage.
It's called having a job. When you have a job, you're under total control of the masters of the enterprise. They determine what you wear, when you go to the bathroom, what you do.
Amazon workers I worked in a Amazon warehouse for a summer. Amazon workers and most working class folks understand this. This doesn't come as a great shock to them because it's their everyday living reality. Now, there's some more privileged working class jobs. Folks who are sort of upper middle class or working rich might have a greater degree of autonomy than your sort of minimum wage worker or middle class worker or working poor. But the fact of the matter is, across the board, you do not have the freedom to make your own decisions. Let's just look at some of the examples. What you wear. You don't have the freedom to just wear whatever you want at your job. You simply do not. No one's going to dispute that. The clowns, the people who refuse to engage seriously, will say you can wear whatever you want, but you'll be fired. That's not how freedom works. That's not how choice works. Okay? Remove yourself from that absurd notion. You do not have the freedom to your time. You don't get to pick and choose when you show up, when you leave. You are told what to wear. If not explicitly told, implicitly told. You look for communication as to say, this is what you wear, and you follow suit, because to not is to be put out on the streets and all that comes with that. You are not consulted about the decisions of the place of employment. They don't come and ask you, hey, do you want to weigh in here? Let's come to a democratic decision about how this is all going to go. They make the decision and they tell you what to do, and you follow suit. That is authoritarianism. And that is the state of all private institutions and all public institutions in our society. And so I ask you, how can it be then that we live in a democratic and free society when every institution is authoritarian? Where is the democracy? Where is the freedom? Point it out. It doesn't exist. It is a myth. It is a lie. And it's a lie that's constantly perpetuated through deception, through misinformation, through disinformation, through perverting these particular notions of authoritarianism and freedom and democracy, such that you never truly understand what they are. You simply accept the state of things as they are. And you become incapable of imagining anything outside of it.
Well, the very idea of a wage contract is selling yourself into servitude. These are private governments. They're more totalitarian.
Folks might say, well, if you like own your own business, yes, there are. There's a small degree of exception to that, where if someone owns a small business, they are working for themselves. That said, if they stopped doing that, or if they were no longer able in some way to sustain this business, they will have to go take a wage job. And they are not afforded the same privileges as corporations, multinational corporations, and so on and so forth.
Than governments are.
But they can't legally murder you or imprison you.
That comment is so frustrating, because what kind of an argument is that? Oh, well, they can't murder you. That's the standard right there. That's the standard. Well, at least they're not killing me. What a bleak thing to say. What an absolutely hopeless thing to say. That's the height of American freedom. That's the standard. Well, at least my job, this authoritarian institution that I must sell myself to, isn't killing me.
Legally murder you, but they can control everything that you do. Okay?
Well, again, the right-wing libertarian argument would be, well, you're free to leave at any time.
Yes, you're free to starve. That's exactly right. You have a choice between starving or selling yourself to a tyranny. Very libertarian. The right-wing libertarians, whatever they believe, are actually deep authoritarians. They're calling for subordination to private tyrannies, the worst kind of tyranny.
I've met a couple, and I have a friend who kind of ascribes to this belief, this idea that these corporations, these private leviathans, should be allowed to do as they please, because they do so much for society, and that's where all the innovation is happening, and the economic production. The innovation in economic production is happening as a result of workers, as a result of the working class. Those are the people making the innovation. Those are the people doing the production. It's not these companies. It simply isn't. And that does not afford them a place where they are given this leeway to dominate the rest of our lives. So I think what people should ask themselves is, do you actually believe in freedom? Do you actually believe in liberty? Do you actually believe in justice? Are you willing to seek to understand what that means and looks like? And then what are you willing to do about it? Can that feel overwhelming? Yes. Can it feel a bit scary? Yes. Do not run from it. Do not give in to the norms that you've received, the messages that you've received, that you will continue to receive. Engage critically with what's around you. We'll let this clip play out and then move on to the next one.
Look, just think about it for a minute. Almost everybody spends most of their life living in a totalitarian system. It's called having a job.
Okay, it just kind of reset. And guys, as I've said a million times, I'm not discussing these things because I think it's going to make me rich, because I think people are going to want to love to hear it. Hey, George, tell us how our entire society is a lie and a farce, and an excuse for domination by the elites. I don't think people are looking to hear that people want to hear that is going to amass great wealth for me. I'm doing it because it is my duty. It is my duty. It is your duty. You either care about liberty and justice for all, or you would resign yourself to servitude, to slavery. It's a slavery with some menial comforts and distractions, for sure. It is slavery all the same. All right, last clip.
You and I are about that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America.
Probably.
So I haven't seen this clip in a very long time, but I guess we'll both kind of be experiencing it for the first time.
Stop some racism.
Stop racism.
Yeah, I'm probably afraid of that, because then people don't hate each other, and people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other. They find out who's the problem.
Which is
Greedy people.
greedy. I have a couple things I want to ask you there. Do you really think that some of the guys that you've dealt with at NBC, no names, right?
Right.
There's lawsuits for that too. That some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism, right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but they say I'm white. I'm going to use this.
Right. Absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry, But and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but.
Now, all right. You and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
You can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you're like the people that are in power. To me, that's the way it goes. People that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe
they go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool. It just gets on you and it
the
starts
system
eating.
levels.
Pretty soon it's all
Is that
gone.
what a cesspool sounds like?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, we'll be back right after this. What do you?
Okay, so he talks about a lot there. Let's go through it bit by bit, and we'll give our thoughts.
What do you think that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America?
probably stop some racism.
Stop racism.
Yeah, I'm probably afraid of that because then people don't hate each other, and people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other. They find out who's the problem.
Which is
Greedy people.
greedy. I have a couple things I want to ask.
You kind of hear those hesitant applause, right? I think that speaks to the authoritarianism that we were talking about earlier. People know it, people see it, but they've been so conditioned into this state of fear and servitude that to even kind of be this like faceless audience member and applaud is a radical act of resistance.
Today. Do you really think that some of the guys that you dealt with at NBC, no names, right? 'Cause there's lawsuits for that too. That some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism, right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're...
So he there articulates the very purpose that race serves in the capitalist system. If you are new to this stream, you might not have this understanding. You might have heard race as a construct. I know it's hard for a lot of, especially Americans, to believe because it is such a foundational fixture of our society that it's difficult for us to conceive of people and life outside of racial categories because we live in a racialized society. Okay? Doesn't make you a bad person. Again, per the first clip, it's just a matter of socialization. You cannot escape it. You've been socialized into it. Okay. It says nothing about your character. All right. But we also understand that race wasn't always with us. Race was created through laws. And these laws then informed the norms and the cultural practices. Okay. The reason race was constructed was to first justify the institution of transatlantic slavery. And secondly, maintain it. The Portuguese, who first began transatlantic slavery, created this concept of a racial hierarchy to justify their inhumane, brutal treatment of those who they enslaved. The American colonists later enshrined these categories into the law as to maintain the institution of slavery, wherein if you were black, that was considered a separate category from anyone who wasn't. And so per the laws on the books, they created black and white. If you're black, you're a slave. If you're white, you are not a slave. You weren't necessarily free. Because if you were not a land-owning, quote-unquote, white person, you couldn't vote. How did enshrining race into law help sustain and perpetuate slavery? There were a couple things going on during that time. One, the enslaved people and the white serfs, those who were in this sort of bounded agreement with the landlords where they would work the land, toil the fields, to be able to live there, were getting along with the enslaved people. Enslaved people and serfs were getting along. The people who were categorized as black and the people who were categorized as white, who were working in the fields, were getting along naturally. If people are together for long durations of time, they're gonna identify with one another. That's what human beings do. They're gonna socialize. They're gonna mingle. They are going to have children. They're going to have children. And that was the crucial component. Because, okay, you say I'm a slave, and you say because I'm black, so you've deemed. You say that person is not a slave because they are white, so you've deemed. Well, what about our child who is both black and white? What is their status? The law had no answer for that. Well, it wasn't in law yet, but the society had no answer for that. So they had to create an answer. The reason they had to create an answer is because if this becomes a regular practice, let's say there's a woman who is enslaved. She has a child with a white person. That child, by virtue of not fitting squarely into the category of black, cannot be enslaved. That line of slavery ends. It ends. You put this on the national scale, slavery is gone or is greatly depleted. You get ahead of that by saying, okay, anyone born from someone who was enslaved is also a slave. Now you have what's called hereditary slavery, where slavery is a status that you inherit from your parents. And so now it didn't matter if the enslaved people who are now categorized as black, the non-enslaved people who were categorized as white, had children. Their children would still be slaves. You do something else. You perpetuate racial pseudoscience. This idea that there's some scientific justification and also religious justification that says that the blacks are inferior and the whites are superior, and you as a white person should not be having relations with a black person because they're beneath you, and it is your place in life to lord over them, to manage and handle them, and sort of civilize them, and you can do so by any means that you see fit with impunity. You create a division amongst these people who now threaten the enterprise of slavery, these working people, the ones working in the field, the enslaved and the serf. You create and enshrine this division in law. You perpetuate it through rhetoric. You reinforce it, and you do so for decades. In such a context, you get the state of the country that we live in. When Pryor in this clip says capitalism needs racism, that is what he's talking about. The transatlantic slave trade was capitalism manifest in those times. Capitalism, to perpetuate the enterprise of slavery, created race for that very purpose. Created racial pseudoscience, perpetuated racist ideologies through its rhetoric. The politicians, the business owners, spread it out through the society and the entire world to protect their capital. And here we are, so entrenched in the system that they created to serve their capital interest, that so many of us see it as truth, see it as natural, see it as some force of nature.
White and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but they say I'm white. I'm going to use this.
Right. Absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry,
And there are tons of ways that they sort of maintain these divisions throughout history. Pryor kind of alludes to it there when he talks about, I'm white, I can get a job. There were obviously moments where these divisions began to break down. The descendants of enslaved people and and white working class people again began to mingle, get along, that threatens capital. It threatens the racial hierarchy that was created to protect capital. And some of you might be confused, well, how does that protect capital outside of slavery? To maximize profit, you need low wage labor. You can ensure that if you create this sort of scarcity of employment, right? If I say I'm going to hire 500 people, and only 500 people, I could hire 600, but if you're all employed, you can easily be employed, you might not accept my low wages or how I treat you in this plant, in this factory, what have you. And so the business leaders collude as to keep employment scarce, and only hire white people in particular roles, and hire black people in particular roles, black people in roles that are pay less and are more dangerous, and come with less prestige. And I continue this racist rhetoric, conditioning and socializing the population into it so that they reinforce it. And in doing so, they reinforce this employment hierarchy. Now I can ensure cheap labor in the black population. They can only find cheap labor. And so I never have to pay them more. If they don't like it, I'll fire them, and nowhere else will hire them because we're all doing this same system. And the white person in this case now sees this and is also being indoctrinated and socialized into this racialized system, and are counting their blessings because they're also working class people. Well, at least I am not in that position at the bottom of the caste system, of the racial hierarchy. So I'm going to take advantage of it. And I am, again, indoctrinated, socialized into these ideas. And so I'm going to feel that it's justified, that it's right, that it's natural. And it all works to serve the interest of the capital elite.
But and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but
Now, all right.
I think he's not giving himself enough credit. It is that simple. Segregation was another tool to maintain this system. But we keep having this issue where the blacks, the whites, these working class blacks and whites, they keep finding solidarity with one another. They keep seeing eye to eye on things. They keep seeing that they're in the same state. That's a problem. If they come together around their common exploitation by the capitalist class, we might have a problem on our hands. So let's keep them separated. Let's keep them separated such that the only thing they hear about each other is what we tell them, is what they hear on the news, read in the newspaper, the ads, the books. If they have no connection with one another, they cannot find solidarity with one another. And that maintains the system. That was the point of segregation, another tool to maintain the racial hierarchy, to ensure cheap labor, to perpetuate capital.
You and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
you can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you're like the people that are in power. To me, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, people.
Yeah, right. It's the revolving door. The revolving door between capital and politicians, between capital and politics. The corporate class, the capitalist class, fund the campaigns of individuals who will serve their interests. These individuals get into positions of power in government, do the bidding of the capitalist class, exploit the system to enrich themselves, retire, go into the corporate class, and the cycle continues. And they will not let anyone who does not intend to perpetuate the system get far, because that threatens the system. That threatens their wealth. This is the filter that Chomsky talks about in Necessary Illusions. The sort of propaganda filter. Not only will you be filtered out of positions of power, but your cries, your appeals, your attempts to elucidate, to illuminate, to help educate people on the state of things will also be filtered out, because that threatens power. This is evident in the Red Scare, right? Because communism at its core threatens capital. It says that people should own their labor. People should have decision-making power. There should be no sort of power hierarchy, and wherever that exists, it must always be accountable to the people and justify itself. That is not the system that we live in. The capital elite rule and dominate over everyone. And that's how they like it. And they'll rather keep it that way. And they will stomp and squash and cut out anything that threatens that, be it rhetoric, be it people, be it movements, anything. And that has been the pattern throughout capitalism, throughout history, throughout America. Because modern day capitalism sort of had its explosion in the American colonies and later what we understand as America today.
But it eats them up. It's like a cesspool, you know.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with this format. I kind of saw this coming where a lot of people wouldn't stay for the discussions. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's not particularly, flowery. A lot of it kind of feels overwhelming and bleak, and I understand that. I think it's necessary. So for those who stuck it out, thank you. Again, let me know your thoughts, questions, how these things show up in your life, how you've internalized particular messages, your understanding of things. And this is a regular thing we'll be doing. We did it last week. Every Tuesday, we'll have Reaction Tuesday, where we react to clips, videos, media, and talk about how they reflect the social phenomenons, patterns, the political phenomenons and patterns, the economic phenomenons and patterns in society from a sort of conflict theory powers perspective. Yeah, guys. Also, I think playing the YouTube studio songs might work. Unless it's just been playing that song on repeat the entire time, in which case I need to actively be changing the songs. I haven't really paid attention to that, but nope. It goes back to the next song. It'd be cool if I could put this on like a shuffle sort of setting. But this is nice. I might take some time to go through this and start some songs to create a playlist that allows me to just use these songs in my these songs and sounds in my clips as to have some background music, so it's not so kind of quiet, because I can't use Spotify. I'll get sued unfortunately. Get out of there. I'm super excited for Halo campaign Evolved, especially because I'm playing the Halo 1 campaign for the first time, and campaign Evolved is the Halo 1 campaign. And it's third person, or at least third person is an option, which is so cool. Personally, I think third person games lend themselves better to a vertical streaming format, and we have that option here. See if we can show some of that. And I believe it's gonna release by the end of the month.
We got all the bits, bobs, levers, and knobs to tweak and tune your experience. First up, skulls. In Halo Campaign Evolved, there are 3 skulls hidden in each and every alien-infested mission. They're collectible artifacts that help you modify your mission with tougher challenges.
See, this is the third person, dude. I don't think we've ever experienced Halo on third. Bro, if this becomes a mainstay, where they allow you to switch between first and third person, oh boy, I'm here for it. That's gonna change the game for me personally, man. Oh, that looks so nice. That looks so nice. Because I feel like it adds a layer of immersion and role playing, where I get to see Master Chief be Master Chief. Yeah, it's cool to see through his eyes. But to see Master Chief operate in the world, I think also adds to the game. And so having that option is awesome.
You modify your mission with tougher challenges, bonus perks, or some truly absurd outcomes. Turn on 1, turn on 2. Hell, turn them all on if you think you can handle it. Let's have a look at some of my favorites. You feeling proud of those headshots? How about celebrating the Grunt birthday party?
Dude, I remember when I first unlocked this skull in Halo 3, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, man. And I forget that Halo was always that kind of gamey, that kind of arcadey.
How about infinite ammo? Let me say that again. Infinite ammo. Activate the bandana skull and you'll never have to worry about battery charge or how many magazines you got left. And if the ground is feeling hot, 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 some skulls will make you jump around. Boom! Bang! Look at them fly. Some skulls bring the bip, the bap, and the boom. Rockets, grenades, vehicles. It's glorious to behold. Do you believe you can fly? Do you believe you can touch the sky? The Acrophobia skull will let you take flight to explore every corner of Alpha Halo, whether you should be there or not. You want to admire that sleek new Mark V armor. Activate the perspective skull to pull those eyes out of your head and see things in third person.
Oh, it's a skull. Interesting. I don't like that that's how they're doing that feature. I wish it was just something you could toggle. But I guess we'll take that it's in the game.
Then again, sometimes
I think that's
you just
new.
want some old school vibes.
Unless
Maybe
I'm
throw it
wrong.
back to second
I'm gonna look into
In my
that.
day, the MA5B held 60 rounds. Look at those shell casing fly. Whether you want to play OG or OP, skulls can make you feel like the biggest badass on the block. And that's not all. Can't decide what route to take? Remix mode will automatically order you a combo platter to get you out of the menu and into the mayhem. Don't worry though, at this fine establishment, substitutions are allowed. This feature is perfect for any discerning cyborg super soldier looking to mix things up a bit. Remix opens up the floodgates of what's possible on the battlefield. Hey, what are these guys doing here? Remix doesn't just change how you play the game. It changes how you see the battlefield. And it goes without saying, a Halo adventure like this is just too good to keep to yourself. So feel free to bring a friend or three to subject to your masochistic madness. Skulls and Remix let you play Halo your way. Halo Campaign Evolved. Pre-order now. That's an order, soldier.
I wonder, what do you get for pre-order? Withered, dude. How did I become so withered? Brother, I wish I knew, man. I'd tell you.
The ring has some kind of deep
It's lost on me,
significance.
man.
They call it Halo. They believe that Halo is some kind of weapon.
What sort of weapon is it?
One with unimaginable power.
How are we doing, Jalen?
So for those unfamiliar with the Halo story, Halo... What's up, Jalen? Halo has the ability, the Halo rings have the ability to exterminate all life in the universe. And they've been used before. They were used by the Forerunners to exterminate all life in the universe as a contingency, a last-ditch effort to kill off the Flood, which was this sort of parasitic hive mind that was running rampant throughout the universe and threatened to also take over all life. So what the Forerunners did was they indexed all the species in the universe, put them in a library that was impervious to the oh, it is freezing.
How are we doing with
The hell is all that about? Did it start downloading something? Hold on, man. Yep, a download did start. Nope. We are not looking for a download. Okay. Thanks for calling that out, man. I'm not sure why. Can it not do that? Can it not download? That's weird. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so the Flood or the Forerunners, the Forerunners created the Halo rings as a contingency to kill off the Flood, and they indexed all life in the universe, put it in this library, and the library was impervious to the effects of the Halo rings. Then they activated the rings and killed everything in the universe. It's gnarly. Turns out they didn't kill off the Flood. You can watch this too. There's a Halo animation that tells the story. But I think a couple of Flood survives, going to hiding. Life is kind of repopulated in the universe. Thousands of years later, the Covenant forms as I'm not completely certain what their exact ideology is, but they see the Halo rings as this weapon of God that is their place and their right to employ to kind of dictate which life forms deserve to exist in the universe. So the Covenant go out to discover, find, and activate the Halo rings and extinguish life that they find to be I'll try, man. Exterminate life that they find to be undeserving. Mostly species that have not accepted the Covenant. Yeah, brother, it's a cool story. So that's the kind of backdrop of Halo for those who are not familiar, I've watched a ton of Halo lore clips online. I recommend it too if people are trying to get into the game but are not super familiar with the story. There are tons of great YouTube videos out there to help you familiarize yourself with the Halo lore. Highly recommended. Let's see here. Dude, on Sundays, Withered Duke, if you play Marvel Rivals on Sundays, show up to the stream. I do community game Sundays on Sunday. So show up to the stream and play some games with us. That's going to be every Sunday thing. And yeah, I'm trying to get some Marvel Rival games, some Among Us going, and some other games too, as it makes sense. Also, Battlefield is an option that we can do as well. I'm not sure how many people play that, but that's also an option. I run some Jedi Survivor while I'm here. I'm gonna have to clip this stream later on. Yeah, man, please do. It'll be fun. We've done Rivals once on Community Game Sundays, and we've done Among Us a couple times, and those were all successful. I don't think Rivals is going anywhere. I heard rumors that DC is trying to dip their toe in the water because of the success of Rivals and do their own kind of arena hero shooter in the vein of Overwatch. How much that's true, I don't know. It was just a random YouTube clip. Could be complete nonsense. But hopefully it's not. I think that'd be really cool. It'd be tough to balance. I'm like, how are you guys gonna balance Superman? But I guess, hey, Marvel figured it out, so it's not impossible. Then again, Marvel has seemed to be figuring out some things DC cannot figure out, so we shall see. Especially when it comes to the DC Cinematic Universe. But I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe has sort of lost its luster as of late. Well, I appreciate that, brother. All right. Run a couple minutes of this and then call it. Why is it not connecting? Yeah, there we go. Wait, I beat this, no? I'll put the music back on because they won't ban me this time. But yeah, I think the YouTube music library might be the move, because I'm pretty sure that's copyright free on YouTube, and so I'm going to assume it's going to be copyright free on a lot of other platforms as well. So when I'm doing things that don't have music, I'll take advantage of the YouTube audio library, and then when I clip my streams to make videos, I'll add some of that in there as well. I gotta really take a deep dive and star some songs to utilize. Withered Andrew Garfield.
We got company. Uh-oh.
Running from a blaster, better run a little faster.
I swear the audio on my games are just never consistent. I'm not sure what's up with that, but never consistent.
Saloon. No location shattered.
How we doing, Jay Harrison?
Hey, look at that. He ain't dead. How you doing, kid?
Hal. Whatever you did up there sure kicked the firebug nest.
Ravis is gone.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So let me guess. Back to Kobo?
Yeah, I think so.
Say, Jetpack, give me a hand up.
Yo, what's up, brother?
Yep.
Hey, Jay Harrison, drop a follow, man. How you doing? The one bittersweet thing about being restricted is that most of the people who come across the stream are followers, and people who've kind of been here before and are more likely to engage, as opposed to like troll.
We're Kobo bound.
I'm all right, brother. I'm not bad. I'm not bad, man. I'm alive. My mental faculties are in order. I'm proud of myself. I'm working toward my goals. I am not bad. I'm glad you're doing good, man.
I need to clear my mind.
You're brooding. Again.
That easy to read my mind?
It's no Jedi trick. Just pay attention.
On the Shattered Moon, I saw Dagon confront Centauri. He was so consumed by Tanalorr that he completely lost his way.
I don't really know what Tanalorr is. I haven't been following the story
Fight with the Empire
too
these
well.
last few years. Let's just say I don't know
Sorry,
nothing.
dude. I do what I do. I let people do what they do.
You
Why does
are very
BD look like
stubborn,
that? I swear,
But ambition
it's not
does
the skin I
drive you.
gave him.
I just don't understand why she didn't see the change in him before it was too late.
They dreamed together. And suffered together. A shared dream is not so easy to wake from. Is that what troubles you? Losing yourself?
Yeah. A little.
If you ever stray from your path,
What? Now you're just
we will
now
guide
you're
you.
just fucking around. Oh, yo, Jay. On Sunday we do community game Sundays, and we've been playing Among Us and Marvel Rivals. So show up on Sunday and play some Marvel Rivals with us, man. locking down a schedule here. Gonna shift soon to a 3-day-a-week schedule. Probably Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. Tuesdays we'll do reactions. Thursdays we'll do our kind of gaming and commentary, and then Sundays we'll do community games. That's the plan so far, and I think that's gonna work well.
I'll catch up with you. Gonna fire up the Z95 for some good old-fashioned air support.
What is this thing? Like, he's everywhere, and like he always escapes me. How are you supposed to find him? If I try to use the force on him, he just burrows.
Hey, this is a good find.
A Jedi? That's a lot of risk, but enough.
Let me go to the bench and change BD's skin. Change the color. Actually, no, the color's fine. It matches Cal's drip. I'm so glad this dash exists, bro. I felt so weak without it. Not weak, but lacking dexterity. A Jedi should never lack in dexterity. Is there not a table on it? Or is this it? No, these are like artifacts.
Maybe we try some new components.
These even real thing. What are you talking about?
Good time to review our gear.
Wait, did I get any new drip? Or is this not where I change it? No, that's not where I change it. Hmm. Rumors. It'd be cool if you had some kind of... I guess you can grab one of these guys as mounts. was the place that I kept close. Living carefree, but can you hear me? I feel the one who sees you most. Guys suffer too, but not as much as you. Do this laundry list of things. I love this song, dude.
Worried I'll kill too many, make you look bad? No. Get the enemy, blockhead! Roger, roger. It's up to me.
What are these things? Are you like a big comic book guy? Am I even going in the right place? Ah, my old nemesis, the Rancor. On guard.
Toss me one, VD.
No, I should have retreated. Damn, I didn't save, so I'm going to spawn all the way back, huh? Unless it auto-saves? I think it does. Nope.
Come out, Jedi. I want. We've got company.
All right, brother. I'll catch you later.
Unexpected speed.
I'm hit.
Really, dude? Alright, we'll call it after we beat the Rancor. My nemesis. Let's save here. In case we don't beat him. How dare you, beast. Damn it. Holy shit.
Help. Stim, please.
You get too impatient. Block. No, you can't block that. Can't block that. No. No, I didn't dodge that. It's just an instant kill. Oh my god. This is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Jesus Christ, dude. Distance, distance.
I need something, buddy. Now, BD.
Move, move.
Stim, please.
No, I was caught in the animation. I was doing so well. Dude. I threw paper, he threw scissors. Dude. Alright, I gotta get behind him. Like, there's just no way. There's just no way. There's no way. Alright, I can't get caught in an animation. Jesus Christ, dude, those stomps.
It'll help, BD.
Come on, fiend. Don't get greedy. Okay. This is what happened the first time. This is what happened the first time. Not much has changed. The game is like, change the difficulty, brother. It's obviously not for you. You're obviously not like that. No way, bro. Why is your reach all of a sudden
Help me.
that of Wimbyama?
Now, BD.
Can't get too far, but I can't stay too close. Dude, just get caught in that. And that's the thing, if I stay too far, it triggers him to do that. Ay, ay, ay.
Here, buddy.
Nah, I only play irrelevant games, actually.
Hey, buddy.
No way.
I need something, buddy.
Dude, I knew I was too far and I was gonna activate that. I got too far away. And I can't use the pillar